Good afternoon to all the students. This is your Prasanna Maam from NEET World. So, yes, we are here to discuss our NSEJS 2023 paper, of which daily we are exercising few questions. As such, today also we are going to discuss 2 questions with the concepts in detail. So, let us get started, and the first question is this. Okay, which of the following is an angamous grain moth causing severe change to the stored grains? Okay, which of the following is angamous grain moth causing severe damage to the stored grains like paddy and wheat? This is the question. So, this is from the strategies in food enhancement. Okay, so here if you see the explanation first, angamous grain moth, okay, which is whose scientific name or the biological name is Cytotroga cerealia. Okay, this is its scientific name. This is a type of lepidopteran pest. This is a type of lepidopteran pest which is damaging the stored grains like rice, wheat and grains. Okay, so this is the pest. How about the other 3 options that are given? Because this question is directly memory based, which is picked from the strategies of food enhancement. So, if you look into this species, Cytophilus species, commonly called as grain weevil. These are also Coleoptera members. This is not moth. Okay, grain weevil is a Coleoptera member. This is not a moth. Norimopschema species, which is a potato tuber moth. Okay, and Plodia species, wherein this is called as Indian meal moth or stored food pest. Okay, this is called as Indian meal moth or stored food pest, which is seen in flour and nuts. This is not specifically an angamous grain moth. Okay, the Ploida species are not an angamous grain moth, these are Indian meal moths. So, this is the direct description of all the 4 options that are given to us, and the angamous grain moth is Cytotroga cerealia. Okay, so this is the direct question from there. Let us look into the NCERT reference book for this topic. Okay, just a second. So, yes, NSEJS reference book for this type of memory based question for pest identification and biology. The concept is clearly given in NCERT class 9th science in the chapter improvement in food resources and crop pests, and agricultural biology sections in Truman's elementary biology and introductory entomology by T.V. Rangarao. This is the reference book for insect pests. You can refer any of this. This will be heavy. 3rd book is heavy for you. So, you can go for these 2 books, NCERT class 9 improvement in food resources, and you can also go for agricultural biology sections in Truman's elementary biology. Clear, right? And next, yeah, this question is from sexual reproduction of flowering plants. This is a combined question. Just a second. Yeah. So, this question is a combination of 2 different topics. Okay. One is sexual reproduction in flowering plants, or you can say plant reproduction and cell division. Combining these 2 concepts, the question is raised. Okay. So, look at the question carefully. To affect fertilization in angiosperms, pollen grains which are male gametophytes, okay, pollen grains are male gametophytes, which will germinate on the stigma and give out pollen tubes which grow through the style and reach the ovule where the male gametes are discharged close to the egg. So, what is this phenomena? The gynoecium, which is a female gametophyte of an angiosperm, where it has 3 parts: stigma, style and ovary. Stigma, style and ovary. So, here over the stigma what is landed? pollen grains are landed, and this pollen grain, compatible pollen grain landing on the stigma, this will give out what beta? Pollen tube. Pollen tube will be growing all across the style, and this pollen tube will reach the ovule which is present inside the ovary. Okay, ovule which is present inside the ovary, pollen tube will reach into that. Okay, suppose a brinjal plant has 300 seeds in a particular fruit. How many cell divisions will be required to produce the desired fruit? So, here the cell divisions are being asked. Cell divisions in the sense both mitotic and meiotic cell divisions are asked over here. Okay, mitotic and meiotic cell divisions are asked. So, here you look into it, ma. First is what? The phenomena wherein male gametophyte, that is pollen grain, compatible pollen grain landing onto the suitable surface of the stigma, and this will germinate the pollen tube. Pollen tube reaches out the ovule. Ovule will have embryo sac inside it. Okay, embryo sac is formed inside the ovule, wherein this will have 7 celled 8 nucleated condition. All the 7 cells are haploid only. So, at the chaliceal end it has 3 antipodals, and at the micropylar end 2 synergids are present, and 1 egg cell, 3 combinedly egg apparatus we will call it as, and at the center polar nuclei is there. So, here if you see in continuation, brinjal fruit, he said in the question, brinjal fruit is having how many seeds? 300 seeds. 300 seeds means how many ovules are fertilized? 300 ovules are fertilized. Each ovule is fertilized by 1 pollen grain. Each seed forms 1 pollen grain. So, 1 male gametophyte. 1 pollen grain is required to fertilize 1 ovule over here. So, meiosis will produce haploid gametes and mitosis will increase the gametophytic cell number. So, first we will see the female side, ovule formation, and then we will see pollen grain formation. So, inside ovule, in each ovule will require 1 megaspore mother cell. Each ovule requires 1 megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell is diploid, you remember. So, this diploid megaspore mother cell will undergo meiotic division or reductional division, forming 4 linear tetrad, okay, linear megaspores. These megaspores are haploid. Megaspores are haploid. Okay. So, megaspore mother cell undergoes reduction division. This forms 4 haploid megaspores. This 4 haploid megaspores, of this 3 will be degenerated. Okay. 3 will be degenerated, and 1 megaspore is functional megaspore. Here each ovule requires 1 megaspore mother cell of meiosis. After meiosis it forms 4 haploid megaspores, of which 1 is functional. Meiosis in ovule, 1 meiosis per ovule takes place, right. So, on total 300 meiotic divisions are there. On total 300 meiotic divisions. Each functional megaspore will undergo 3 mitotic divisions to form 8 nucleate embryo sac. Okay, 8 nucleate embryo sac. So, how many mitotic divisions in this ovule formation? 300 into 9, total 900 mitotic divisions takes place. So, let me explain you in detail, Vita. Listen here carefully. First, this thing is clear to you, right? Stigma, style and ovary. Okay. Inside ovary, ovules are present. Inside ovary, what are present? Ovules are present. Ovules, inside this ovary, ovules are formed, right? So, the cells which are present inside the ovule are called as nucellus cells. What are these cells? Nucellus cells. These nucellus cells are diploid. One of the nucellus cell inside each ovule, they get what? Differentiated into megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell is diploid. Okay. So, inside ovary, ovules will be present. Ovule will be having what type of cells over here? Nucellus cells. Nucellus cells are diploid. one of the nucellus cell will be differentiated into megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell is diploid. This megaspore mother cell will undergo reductional division. Megaspore mother cell will undergo reductional division or meiotic division, forming linear tetrad megaspores. Okay, haploid megaspores are formed. Haploid megaspores, okay, of which 3 megaspores will be degenerated and 1 megaspore is functional. Understood beta? 3 will be degenerated, 1 will be functional. So, how many meiotic divisions are happening over here? 1 meiotic division. 1 meiotic division, okay. And this single functional megaspore will undergo 3 sequential mitotic divisions. So, this you see, this functional megaspore, first it undergoes first mitotic division, okay, first mitotic division or mitosis. This forms 2 cells, okay. Second mitotic division, second mitosis forms 4 cells, okay. And then third mitotic division, 8 cells, 4 towards the chalazial end, 4 towards the micropylar end. Now the cytokinesis takes place. After the completion of 3 mitotic divisions, now the cytokinesis will take place. So here if you see the embryo sac, 3 cells towards the antipodal, 3 cells, those are the antipodals towards the chalazial end, and 1 cell from here will move to the center, and at the bottom micropylar end also 3 cells are there, right, of which 1 cell comes to the center. So at the center you can see polar nuclei formed, okay, polar nuclei is formed at the center, and down at the micropylar end you can see 2 synergids with filiform apparatus which guides the entry of pollen tube, and egg cell which is present near, close to the synergids. Synergids along with the egg cell is called as egg apparatus. Synergids along with the egg cell is called as egg apparatus. So this is the complete formation of the female gametophyte of angiosperms, that is embryo sac. So what is the contribution of mitotic divisions and meiotic divisions beta? So here he has given 300 seeds. In 300 seeds, each megaspore mother cell is present inside each ovule. So 300 meiotic divisions are taking place, and 300 into 3, because 3 mitotic divisions are happening for 1 functional haploid megaspore. So 1 functional haploid megaspore undergoing 3 mitotic divisions, 300 megaspores will be undergoing 300 into 3, 900 mitotic divisions. So till here it is clear to you know beta, the female side or the ovule formation, till here it is clear, right? Now next let us look into the pollen grain formation also, male side. So pollen grain formation, here if you have to see, 1 pollen grain is formed from 1 microspore, okay, 1 pollen grain is formed from 1 microspore. How microspore is formed? Okay, microspore mother cells inside the sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue. So here if you see anther, the transverse section of the anther, okay, anther has 4 wall layers, right ma? Outer it is epidermis, next layer is endodermis, next layer is endothecium, next to the endothecium 2 to 3 layers of the middle layers, next to the middle layers you have the tapetum. Tapetum, which is the innermost anther wall layer, which provides the nourishment to the sporogenous tissue. So at the center you have 4 sporogenous tissues, okay, sporogenous tissues. The sporogenous tissue or sporogenous cells will have diploid microspore mother cell. Diploid microspore mother cell. inside this porogenous tissue only one meiotic division or reductional division will take place. This reductional division will result in the formation of 4 haploid megaspores. Okay, 4 microspores. 4 haploid microspores. Each microspore will be differentiated into the mature pollen grain. So, here if you see one pollen grain from one microspore which comes from one tetrad, product of meiosis of one microspore mother cell. So, here one meiosis in the anther, it will form 4 pollen grains. Okay, one meiosis in the anther will form how many? 4 pollen grains. For 300 ovules, 300 pollen grains are required, yes or no, to fertilize? For 300 ovules, 300 pollen grains are required. So, 300 by 4 is 75 meiotic divisions. How many meiotic divisions are required, ma? 75, because one pollen grain is enough to fertilize one ovule. So, 300 pollen grains by 4 is 75. 75 meiotic divisions are required. Each microspore will undergo one mitotic division to form 2 celled pollen grain. Okay, and 300 into 1, that is 300 mitotic divisions will happen. Clear? Both the pollen grain formation and ovule formation is clear to us, right? Now, on total, let us calculate how many meiotic divisions and mitotic divisions are happening both in the male side and female side. For ovule formation, how many meiotic divisions are required? 300 meiotic divisions are required. For pollen grains, it is 300 by 4, total 75 meiotic divisions. So, on total, both for ovule formation and pollen grain formation, we have 375 meiotic divisions. 375 meiotic divisions. Clear, right? Next, mitotic divisions. Mitotic divisions, if you see, male microspore to 2 celled pollen grains. One microspore will form 2 celled pollen grains. Okay, one mitotic division will happen, which results in the formation of vegetative cell and generative cell. Okay, vegetative cell and generative cell. Okay, so that forms how many? 300 pollen grains, and male mitosis how much? 300, which is not counted in the option set. Okay, the female mitosis is being not asked. So, total male mitosis is only 300 according to the question if we go. Okay, so here what option we have to choose? On total 375 meiotic divisions. Which option is correct, ma, here? Just a second. So, here on total how many? 375 meiotic divisions. This answer will be right. 300 ovule sets and 300 by 4, 75 meiotic divisions for pollen grain formation. On total it is 375 meiotic divisions which are taking place. Okay. Now, so this type of questions which are connecting dots of 2 different chapters. Here this question is a result of how many chapters? Sexual reproduction of flowering plants and cell division. Both of them combined, then we have to do this question. As such, many questions are asked. Okay. So, what will be the best reference books for this sort of questions or for this question particularly? Okay. Yeah. For plant reproduction and cell division calculations, what books we have to refer? NCERT class 12 biology, wherein you have sexual reproduction in flowering plants, and cell cycle cell division of NCERT 11th biology. Okay. Or you can go for MTG NSEJS Explorer, which has Olympiad level plant reproduction questions, or you can go, this reference will be huge for you, Campbell, or you can also go for Pearson. Pearson you can easily go through Pearson Foundation series of biology for class 9th and 10th level for clear cell division in plants. Okay. So, this can be your best reference books. Both for both the topics pest identification and plant reproduction and cell division. In our next class, we will come up with few more questions of NSEJS 2023 paper, and that is all for today's session. Thank you. Good afternoon, Shiva. Thank you.